Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 20th of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. May run to around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video. The next 4 weeks gets us into November, and I should get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video thing was our 6 AM upload, and we'll be live streaming at 8 PM time. We're going to discuss the winter update that was released yesterday. So we released our 6th winter update for 2022-2023 yesterday, and we'll do a live stream tonight at 8 PM discussing that winter update. And, you know, we'll show you some trials there. We'll show you some long range in that as well. It's going to be a nice mid-evening live stream, and I shall see you that at 8 PM, hopefully. Right, okay, let's start off in the tropical Atlantic then. Things have gone relatively quiet for the time being. We've got a yellow X just here. Get rid of that. Got a yellow X just here, which is disturbance 1. Only has a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 5 days. I don't think we have to worry too much about that. Otherwise, we're in a quieter period at the moment. Central temperature has been updated to the 9th of October. And we're sitting at 13 degrees, 13.0, which is 2.5 degrees above average. It should continue to tick down gradually over the next few days. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. You can see we're around to a little bit below average at the moment. We go near a normal later on in the week, and then a bit of a drop as we head to the end of week into the weekend, but not for long. Looks like things will be picking back up to be quite close to average as we go into the 3rd week of October. There are some quite warm ensemble members as well for a time. Sometime around the 19th, 20th, we might get a brief push up in the temperature. That's very typical for that period of the year, the classic St. Martin's summer. So yeah, that idea last week that we could get like a 4 or 5 day colder snap between around the 16th and 21st of October. That's pretty much gone now, though it does get a bit cooler for a couple of days around the 16th to 17th. But generally, I think the idea of like a cold interval is for the middle of the month. That should have been taken off the table. It just looks quite close to average, really. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather over the next few days. There'll be some wet and windy weather at the end of the week, and then it looks like the second half of October will be really quite unsettled with quite a bit of rainfall to come. Temperature anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of October, around average, a little bit below average in the north, maybe a little bit above in the south. It's not a particularly big deviation anywhere either way. Precipitation anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of October, again, about average in most areas. Bit wetter than average, perhaps towards the southwest or western parts of the country. Still a little bit drier than average towards eastern Scotland and East Anglia. Again, not particularly big deviations either way. All very typical for October, really. Latest wind from that from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got high pressure sitting just to our southwest today, and we're bringing in a rather cooler and fresher northwesterly wind. Right, let's go through chart data then. So this is how the UK Euro run is looking at midnight on Thursday. Low pressure beginning to develop out in the Atlantic. Turned quite wet and windy from Thursday into Friday, and these unsettled conditions may carry on into the weekend, with further areas of low pressure coming in off the Atlantic over the weekend, keeping the unsettled weather going. As far as we get to with the UK Euro run is to next Monday, 17th of October, by which time the low pressure out to west of Ireland is beginning to stall, and we might be starting to pull up some southerly winds then. So that will bring some warmer air up from the south, perhaps around 17th, 18th of October. Looks unsettled though. Icon looks like that, with low pressure again developing in the Atlantic Thursday to Friday, bringing plenty of wet and windy weather with it, and these unsettled conditions carry on into next weekend as well. That's midnight Monday, 17th again, low pressure just to our southwest, threatening potentially a very wet and windy day on the 17th. My birthday could be a little bit of a washout there if Icon is right. The GFS midnight run once more looks unsettled at the end of this week, with low pressure bringing showers, long spells of rain and quite strong winds too. Trying to get wind into the north there by the end of the weekend. So that was the idea a few days ago, of course, that the low pressure would move to Scandinavia, and that would open the wind to northerly winds combined with high pressure blocking towards Greenland. That's still just about there, but what happens is that another area of low pressure develops to our southwest, and that will start to drag up warmer air from the south, but also potentially a lot of rain could come up with that. So as we go through next week, looks very unsettled. This is Tuesday, 18th of October. Low pressure will bring further bouts of rain, milder temperatures, yes, warmer temperatures, yes, but really unsettled with further showers, longer spells of rain. A little bit of northerly there on the 22nd of October. That's quite fleeting though, and we're back into low pressure in off the Atlantic again by the end of the GFS midnight run, which today gets us to the 26th of October. Looks very unsettled back, doesn't it, from the weekend onwards. GFS 6Z, once more showing low pressure taking over at the end of this week, with strong winds and showers as well as rain in off the Atlantic. The coming weekend looks very unsettled too, with low pressure never far away. That's Monday 17th again. We've got lots of heavy rain piling up from the south and from the southwest. Then we are dragging up warmer air from the south with that area of low pressure, but will be unsettled with lots of rain to come. That's day 10, low pressure more or less over the top of the country. Looks very unsettled that. And then beyond that, a little bit colder then. The low pressure just to the north of Scotland allows something a bit colder to come in from the north with that trough of low, but not for long. We're back into those milder southwesterly winds again by the 26th of October, by the end of the GFS 6Z run, but it is unsettled again. Low pressure is in the North Atlantic. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Drop a comment. I'll let us know about this and all of our videos. Thank you so very much everyone for doing that. Right, the GEM looks like this. So unsettled at the end of the week, with low pressure bringing plenty of showers and even longer spells of rain. And these unsettled conditions carry on into the weekend and even into next week as well. Now later next week, the GEM does something a little bit different. It starts to build high pressure over to the east of the country, with this area of low pressure in the middle of the Atlantic. That starts to pull up some very warm air from the south. Look at the upper air temperatures by day 10, lifting the plus 15 Celsius iceberg there towards southern parts of England. That would probably be enough if it came off to get the temperature back into 20 Celsius, to around 21 degrees, maybe 70 Fahrenheit, which isn't bad going for second half of October. Of course, probably temporary. There is lots of low pressure in the Atlantic, so any southerly will probably get cut off within a couple of days. That low pressure heads in, but might get quite warm there if that was to come off. That's classic, you know, around that period, 17th, 18th, particularly 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. That sort of 5-day window is the classic St. Martin's summer window, and so that's very typical. One last push of warmth from southerly winds around that time. Maybe ECM doing that looking like that. So high pressure is slipping away towards the Azores actually at the end of the week as low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. That brings further wet and windy weather at the end of the week and into the weekend as well. There will be plenty of showers and even longer spells of rain around too. Heading up into the beginning of next week, looks unsettled. Warmer, yes, winds coming up from the southwest, but with low pressure just to our west, there will be further bouts of rain coming along. Overnight temperatures get quite warm actually with the ECM as well. Not as warm as the GEM, but get quite warm with the ECM for a couple of days next week before the low pressure rain starts to head in from off the Atlantic and cuts off those southerly winds. Just looks really quite unsettled. I have to say, this looks like we're settling into really quite a wet pattern here from like the weekend onwards and then into the second half of October. We could see some really quite protracted bouts of rain here, I think, with this pattern. Precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from temeshow.com, showing plenty of dry weather in the south over the next few days, with wet weather generally being kept at bay out to the north and west until the end of the week, where you see heavy rain begins to start coming in from off the Atlantic, and that trend continues then through the end of the week into the weekend and on into the early part of next week. Just regular bouts of rain sweeping through the country. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 20th of October from the Icelandic Met Office. So we have got 23 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operation run, with high pressure pulled out into the Atlantic, low pressure just to our west-southwest. So very unsettled, but not too bad for the temperature, as we are bringing up wind from a southerly southwest direction. 16 with low pressure to our east and south, high pressure in the Atlantic. That's very unsettled, but is cooler, bringing in the wind from the northeast. And then 12 with high pressure ridging in from the Atlantic into Western Europe with low pressure down here. That's probably bringing up warm air from the south. So that will be in line, I suppose, with what the GM is showing at day 10 with those warm southerly winds. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This one will get us to the 25th of October. 18 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure right over top of the country. Looks very unsettled. Another 18 with low pressure to our east, high pressure to the west in the Atlantic and heading up to Greenland. And winds are coming in from a cold northerly direction, potentially with that. 8 with high pressure just to our west, low pressure to our northeast. So that's going to be a drier option. Could be a bit on the cool side, winds from the northwestern direction. And then 7 with high pressure to our south, low pressure to our west. They're combining to draw up some warm air from southern parts of the Atlantic Ocean. So a range of options, but all looking quite unsettled, I think. So let's meet to you finally. These are 500 millibar height anomalies breaking down into weekly periods. The first week period will take from the 10th to the 16th of October. Coming week does look unsettled with low pressure to the north, high pressure is to the south, and winds are coming in from a westerly direction. Go for the week 2, which is the 17th to 23rd of October. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to our west-northwest, and also to our south. All looks quite messy, but probably quite unsettled and relatively mild with that. Week 3 is going to be the 24th to the 30th of October. High pressure wind reaches in off the Atlantic, turns us mainly dry with that for the end of October. And then that high pressure carries on into week 4, which is the 31st of October, 6th of November. High pressure over and just to the west of the country, mostly dry. It could be a little bit chilly if we was to pull the wind in from like a northeasterly direction. Maybe frost and fog, that sort of thing there in early November. We shall see and time will tell. Right, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe as well. And we thank you so very much, everyone, for doing that. Got to put on around another 70 subscribers to get to 14.6k, 14,600 subscribers. So if you could give us a sub, then that would be absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, so that's it for today's videos. We have got a live stream coming up at 8 o'clock, though, tonight, this evening, when we will be discussing the winter update. So we're going to be discussing a 6th winter update in our live stream at 8 p.m. We'll show you some 12s there with that, and we'll show you some long-range Super Talpings and logs, I think, as well as CFS too. So that'll be coming up tonight. Tomorrow we'll have a 6 p.m. upload. We'll have the EC 30-day / 6 weeks look out for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. And along that, there'll be a 10 to 14 day or two. So please keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this video, that's all for now. And I shall see you a little bit later on for our live stream. But for this one, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.